episode number 175.
You really have got to have captions on any video on LinkedIn because people who are using LinkedIn, oftentimes they could be at work, they're scrolling that feed, and they don't have sound on.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello, and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, I'm pumped up and we're ready to rock today. And hopefully after the show, we're going to get you a more powerful LinkedIn because I'm excited to bring you our featured guest today, Joanne Funch. Joanne, are you ready to be real?
Absolutely. Ready to roll.
Joanne is a 25-year veteran in the ever-changing world of marketing, and she has worked with hundreds of businesses across a variety of industries and helping them creating marketing processes that help them scale and grow with strategic growth. And now Joanne is really focused on LinkedIn. Joanne partners with individuals and companies to help leverage LinkedIn to manage their reputation, build a personal brand, and find engaging prospects. And, there's so much out there, but Joanne believes most people yearning for meaningful connections and deep desire to be heard are not only personal, but professional. And LinkedIn is the place. LinkedIn is the place. So we've given our listeners just a little insight, but how's your day going today?
Fabulous. Fabulous. Thanks for having me, Travis.
Absolutely. So getting into LinkedIn for business, because I know you've been featured on Star Tribune, Social Media Examiner, Yahoo Small Business Advisors, and the list goes on. My question, what made you focus on LinkedIn?
Well, it's kind of, let me give you a little backstory as to how I got there. Because my background is marketing, as you've said, and I've been serving small business owners for a long time. Mm-hmm. But how I actually got into teaching LinkedIn was when I decided to relocate across the country in 2007. I actually lived in Southern California for 25 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And in 2007, it was about 2 years following the death of my husband, who also was my business partner. I decided to relocate.
Gotcha.
And when I did that, I returned to my hometown. But like I said, I've been gone for 25 years and I had no business. I had no business connections. And I needed a way to meet people and to understand what was happening in this business community. And also to make some decisions about how I was going to reframe my business. And so I was an early adopter of LinkedIn and I started using it to reach out to people. And if you can remember back to those early days, those people who were using it at that time were really active and they were responsive. And so I built a network quickly. I'm also a really curious person. I love to learn about people. And I think that's one trait that's always helped me to build meaningful relationships. And so that's kind of how I got into LinkedIn, and I met some really cool people, and I was able to grow fairly quickly. And people said, "How did you do that?"
Right.
All businesses are formed that way. All entrepreneurs, find a niche, and that's ended up kind of being a niche through my own experience in getting to know people in this new community.
It's very true. And now, obviously, because you started as an early adopter, now it's a little harder maybe for some people because obviously there's a lot more people on there. There's advertising. There's more commotion. Some people have figured it out. Some people haven't. For those that are sitting on the line today and saying, "Hey, Joanne, I need to get my LinkedIn. I need to step my game up." Where would you say is the first place that they can focus on? Where's the first place that you say focus on first?
Well, it seems repetitive, but it's always about the profile, because in today's world, people often meet us online before they meet us offline. Right. And so I like to say that first impressions have gone digital. Mm-hmm. And because LinkedIn, is that number one social platform for business, for personal branding, you've got to have a profile that actually attracts the people you most want to connect with. And it seems like I'm beating a dead horse. And to those people who have been around a long time, they say, yeah. But the fact remains, I get invitations every single week from people who, quite frankly, have lousy profiles.
Yeah. And it's hard maybe for them. I think a lot of people just throw their picture up there and put a headline and say, I'm done. Joanne, I'm done.
Exactly.
So it's a little bit more work than that to set it up correctly then.
It's a lot more work than that. And I think people need to think about themselves as a personal brand, because we're all a personal brand, right? You are, I am, we all are.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's really important to understand that your LinkedIn profile shows that you actually understand the people you want to serve. And if you come from that perspective, your brand, it is about your brand. It's about, are you talking to that ideal customer or referral partner, right? Or colleague who wants to learn about you? And how many times have you gone to a profile and you read it and you still go, I don't get what they do.
Right. Yeah, they got too many either keywords that are about their industry that maybe no one knows what about that is, or they're just vague.
Exactly.
And I think that's so important, folks that are listening today, is that, take it seriously. Take your personal brand seriously by really spending time and filling out the, all the sections of your LinkedIn profile, as Joanne would say, with the prospect in mind. When they come browse your profile, you want to kind of make it easy for them to understand what the heck you do, And,
exactly. And there's some real benefits that people need if they get the benefits, like your profile could attract those leads and clients organically because maybe you've connected with them, they come to your profile, and it's impressive. Mm-hmm. So you're attracting the right people. You're enhancing your professional reputation, right? You're
Absolutely.
already building your authority. So if you really highlight your experience and what you do, you're establishing authority. Mm-hmm. And I mean, these are just some of the things that I think having a really great profile, there is an ROI, and it does matter.
Right. So with your customers, do you typically work with business owners? Do you typically work with individuals, or with the business themselves?
All of the above.
All of the above. Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. I got just this morning, I got an email from a company in Canada that asked me if I could build out their company page and give them some training on it. So It's kind of all over the board.
That's awesome. Well, it's because you have a specific focus that they are finding you.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the hard part in this world today, is finding what your focus is, because a lot of times we want to be the jack of all trades. We want to do it all.
Right.
You got to find you can't do it all, my man. You can't do people that are focused on doing it all, it's just not going to work out, or they end up being kind of like, B, C grade on all those different tasks. They're never really an expert or at one task. So I think that's what you're unique. Just looking at your profile here, I think that's the most unique thing specifically on yours, is that you know what you do. LinkedIn for business. It's really
know what I do. I do know what I do. I'm very specific. I'm very specific in my profile about who I serve and what I do. And so, if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, you want to make sure that when people actually open your profile, they get what you do. It's very specific. So you'll notice that in my profile, it's very specific rather than broad, because what does broad do for you? People don't get it. And if they don't get it, they move on. Right.
They go, next. So then say we have our profile ready, we're dialed in, we're getting things going. What is the next step do you take to building out your network, your engagements? How do you take the next step?
Well, I personally think you need to know why you're there. Mm-hmm. Why are you there? Is it for building brand awareness? Is it to build a network? Is it prospecting? So it starts with, what's my goal? Gotcha. And to me, that eliminates the excuse of the folks that all say, well, I don't have time.
Right.
Well, typically you don't have time because you're not focused. So, but let's just talk about, building and growing a digital relationship, because that's what we're doing these days, right?
Absolutely.
So who do you want to connect with?
Me
And
or
anybody, who do you want to connect with? Ask yourself that question. Who do you want to connect with? And reach out to people. The first step is, that personalized invitation. It's all goes back to that making a great first impression, right? And the first impression is if you start engaging with people, invite them to connect, tell them why.
Right.
Maybe say, hey, I heard you on Travis's podcast and I liked what you had to say and I'd love to have you be part of my network. That's a great start.
So it's very important, you're saying, that not only do you just connect with these people, but you actually send a personalized invitation.
Absolutely. You want to set yourself apart, right? And so if you're building relationships, to me, it's not about the volume of people, it's about the quality.
Right.
So, you'd have to think in terms of how can I really start building a relationship? How can, and spend the time learning about people.
That's probably the biggest thing for people that I get is they're sending out templated emails, templated LinkedIn messages.
I know. And the more personal you can get, the more you can pull something out of that person's profile. Maybe it's their alma mater. Maybe it's somewhere they volunteer. Really dig deep into their profile and mention something about them personally. I'll tell you what, that first impression will change everything.
So do you have a set goal for your customers or clients that they need to do so many outreaches a day, or is it that's part of the process?
If that's their goal, if that's their goal, then for sure.
Yeah.
I typically teach people, how to find the people they want to find, how to connect with them. And then I think it's all about, engagement. These days on social media, and I don't care what platform you're on, it's about engagement.
Absolutely.
So, so LinkedIn's all about the relationships, but if you want to build that authentic and valued relationship, you have to engage with those people.
Yeah. Engage on their posts too, right?
Exactly. So engagement means it doesn't stop after the invitation request. What are you going to do next?
Right.
Are you going to go look at their profile? Are you going to see if they're active? Can you jump in on a conversation?
Right.
There's lots of ways to engage with people that has to go beyond that invitation, right?
Mm-hmm. To know you care.
And I'll tell you this, that's exactly right. And to know you care. And then secondly, LinkedIn actually rewards those people who engage.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is you and your posts will show up in the news feed more often via that LinkedIn algorithm when you actually engage, because LinkedIn wants dialogue. They want conversations.
Right.
Right.
And they don't want just people posting without anyone commenting on it or anyone liking it.
Exactly. They want to see and share people who are actually getting engagement. It's good for LinkedIn and it's good for you.
Gotcha.
So if you did that consistently, it will make all the difference. And quite frankly, it's all about visibility, right?
Right. Absolutely.
So, I think visibility creates opportunity. And the more engaged you are and the more authentic you are, things start to happen. So whatever your goal is, I still believe that visibility will create whatever opportunities based on your goals.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of goals on there. I mean, you could be seeking a job. I mean, there's so many different things that are out there. It's not necessarily like you are trying to sell your service to a business. It could just be you're trying to get a job for yourself.
Exactly. I think
students and people trying to reset their careers, and there's so many opportunities, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It applies to all of those things.
Or just building out your, your friend network. people that you want to be friends with, people, your old past friends, your old past clients, people you went to high school with, people you went to college with, see where they're at. It doesn't have to only be used for business. Folks, think about LinkedIn as a business platform, but it's where people are, conversating as well, just like any of the other platforms. Obviously about business more than other platforms. It's not a foodie platform, but it is definitely, it's definitely personal. And I think that that's one of the negatives I've seen lately in the last probably 5 or 10 years on LinkedIn is just becoming more and more spam, more and more business outreach, more. And maybe that also leads to those that are taking your strategy to stand out a little more.
Absolutely.
Leads me also into my question here too. Curiosity is video. I've been seeing a lot more video on LinkedIn. Is that something that they're promoting in the algorithm as well?
They are. Video's hot this year on LinkedIn, and for social media guys like you, you think, well, geez, video's been around a long time, but not in LinkedIn's world. So
right.
What they really are favoring live and native video. Now, not everybody has the capacity or capability rather for live yet, but native video, anything you can upload under a minute is powerful. But the tip I would give people on this is you really have got to have captions on any video on LinkedIn. Because people who are using LinkedIn, oftentimes they could be at work, they're scrolling that feed and they don't have sound on.
Right. So make sure that your video has captions. Otherwise, they're just seeing you, speak to the camera, but they're not hearing what you're saying.
Right. And they may not be able to click on sound, right? Because maybe they're at work. So if you want, again, it's that first impression, right? If I'm going to put up a 30 to 60 second video, I'm going to add those captions so people will click on it.
And do you have a service that you like using with the captions specifically?
I do. I use rev.com. They're super reliable, really fast.
Awesome.
That's who I use.
They'll caption any of your videos for a fee.
Yes, and it's inexpensive. It's $1 a minute.
Oh, that's
so. Listen, you're under a minute video costs you $1.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's so worth it.
Wow, that's awesome. Rev.com. We'll put that in the show notes as well. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
And then also my question to you is as well, because have you heard of Gary V's $80 strategy?
I have. Yes.
What do you think about that?
I think he makes a ton of sense. I mean, he's really pushed LinkedIn this year.
Oh,
super interesting.
He's going heavy on it. Yes.
Yeah, heavy on it. And he makes a lot of really good points. Now, most of us can't be Gary V.
Right.
But the strategy in general, I think, is really smart. Yeah.
Just go and comment on, add your 2 cents is basically, folks, what it is, the $80 strategy. Add your 2 cents to 90 people's posts.
Yeah, I think his numbers are a little unrealistic, but the big picture is this. It's all about engagement, which I said a couple of minutes ago, right? But be thoughtful. Be more than the guy who says congrats or the one-word answers, because what I'm seeing happening more and more is you're going to see these algorithms are going to filter that stuff out. So it's the people that leave a thoughtful comment that you can tell they actually listened to what you had to say or read what you had to say. That goes a long way. So that aligns really with what he's saying. Yeah. I think it's about consistency and less about the volume. I mean, that's right? I mean,
that's a lot of people comment. Yeah, right. Right. But I mean, he's being real though. It's like, hey, if you really want success on any platform, whatever it is, Facebook, Twitter, any of the platforms, go ahead and comment on people's posts with thoughtful messages. I mean, it makes sense, and just be consistent about doing that. And, you're probably going to get some more traction, more friendships, more, I've noticed when I comment sometimes on Gary Vee stuff with a thoughtful comment, I'll get other people adding me and commenting on my posts, so you can get some additional benefits, folks, if you actually put a thoughtful comment on there, and that, you'll have new followers because he has a huge following. And so someone's looking through the comments and sees yours and says, hey, Travis is an interesting guy. Let me follow him and let me connect with him.
That's exactly correct. You are exactly correct. You got it.
Also on LinkedIn, folks, which I think is very true, is a lot of people don't have a ton of engagement on there. So you can be the one that stands out.
Yep.
That's what I think. I mean, on Instagram or on one of these ones, I mean, people get tons of comments. They can't even see your comment because after 99 notifications, they're on to the next 99 notifications. And so if I miss your comment, I've even had it on some of my posts where I miss family members, things like that in my notifications, because if you get more than 99, you got, it's refreshed to the next 99, so it's like, it can be hard to miss those things. And so I see on LinkedIn, the benefit really is there's less action going on, people are commenting less, so you can be standing out more.
I totally agree. I think there's so much opportunity on LinkedIn that people who get it are really leveraging the platform.
Absolutely.
And that's what Gary Vee was really has been saying.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's pivoted hard and is really on LinkedIn, which makes sense for his business. It makes sense.
Absolutely.
But now, Joanne, we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix.
Instagram or Twitter? Or LinkedIn?
Twitter. Yeah, LinkedIn, right? Yeah.
Chicken, steak, or fish?
Chicken.
Laptop or iPhone?
Laptop.
Spotify or Pandora?
Pandora.
Movies or video games?
Movies.
Reading books or listening to books?
Oh, reading. I love to hold a book.
Nothing like it, right?
Yep.
Stocks, crypto, or real estate?
Stocks.
Oceans or lakes?
Lakes. I live in the land of 10,000 lakes.
Yeah, you guys got the lakes up there.
Yeah.
And when you wake up in the morning and you're getting ready for your day, why do you love being you?
Because who the hell else am I going to be?
Right?
Right.
And you probably love helping your customers too. You probably love helping people, thrive on LinkedIn and build their businesses, build their connections. And maybe you're teaching people something they don't know too.
Yeah. I just love relationships. I just love to teach people how to build better relationships. It's really more about that and less about LinkedIn's just a tool, right?
Right. Absolutely. Yes. It's a tool to be used at scale.
Exactly.
It cannot replace what the original purpose of it is, and that's building meaningful relationships and actually caring, folks. Remember this: care about people.
Exactly.
It's not that hard, but it is hard because some people, I feel like they just want to send out 500 emails in one day and don't realize, if I sent out 5 emails a day that were thoughtful, that were impactful, and it took me, a lot longer than, it took me 100 days at 5 emails a day, I'm probably going to have much more success than sending out some spam 500 messages. Personally,
totally agree.
I just think that's going to work better over time. And you probably learn something along the way. You probably learn your outreach approach. You might learn a few things before you try it. And just like I'm doing this podcast, we're up on 170 episodes. It sounds a whole lot different than when I first started, folks. When I first started, I was much more timid, quiet. I did not, not necessarily have the flow down to the show. And I'm sure at episode 300, I'll even be better than today. So just
absolutely
take that time and effort. It's just, that's all it is.
And you're consistent. So that's what matters.
Absolutely. Right now, is there a skill that you want to master? Is there something you're looking at and saying, I want to get better at that?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's called letting go.
Letting go. That can be hard.
Yeah, it is. For me, it's a skill that I've just decided I needed to spend a little bit more time on it. Really letting go of the things that no longer serve me.
Right.
Both personally and professionally. Professionally, I can say in business, we kind of go down these rabbit holes of, you should, buy this and do that. And, like everybody else growing a business, I'd done a lot of that. And I think it's time to let go of some of it.
Right.
So that's my skill.
Just let the business grow on its own and just let it do its thing. Don't force it, right? In some ways. I think so many people are trying to, force success. Instead of just letting it happen, I mean, like when I started the podcast, it took 3.5, 4 years. Okay. But our show is as successful as it's ever been. We have people booking their guests. We have people, a lot of outreach. Our numbers are bigger. But the truth is, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I'm nothing compared to the Gary Vee podcasts or whatever, like someone that's getting hundreds of thousands of downloads, Joe Rogan's podcast. But for me, in my sphere, it makes me happy. I learn new things.
Right.
I'm very consistent about it. I build my relationship circle. And at the end of the day, I feel like I'm providing some value for others too, because there are people that have messaged me, hey, I like your show. I've really got some great insights. I've been listening to this, this, and this. And that goes a long way. So part of it, is just letting go of the expectations, letting go of, what you think is going to be, because when I started, I was hoping maybe it would be bigger than today, but it's bigger than it is today. I mean, it's bigger than it's when I started. So, you can wish for it to be millions and millions of downloads, but at the end of the day, be happy with what you have today because it can only get better. And ultimately at the end of the day, who cares? There's no, like, it doesn't make you happier if you have 1 million downloads, just like if it doesn't make you happier if you have $1 million in your bank today. Doesn't make you happier. You might not have to worry about your bills. You might be able to go take an extra trip somewhere, but it really doesn't make you that much more happy. I mean, it really doesn't. It can't take away from that. You have to be satisfied of what you have. And obviously we've heard this millions of times, but it's true with anything. Success can't buy you happiness. A bigger LinkedIn following can't buy you happiness. You got to just be happy with where you're at today. Do you have a favorite tool or app that you like using on a daily basis?
Well, the LinkedIn mobile app.
Of course. That thing's gotten great too.
Yeah, it's getting better all the time.
That's one of them. And one of my favorite things about the LinkedIn is the save search as well. Do you teach your customers about that?
Oh, yes.
I think that was one of my favorite things when I was really getting into LinkedIn to learn is like, man, that was an awesome feature. You can save a search that you want, and then it will send you those, new connections.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about it, and you just get it sent to you.
Exactly.
Man, that was still one of my favorite ones on there. But yeah, the LinkedIn app is legit. They've made it so much better than it first started, and you pretty much can manage your whole thing on there. You don't even need to go on desktop if you didn't want to.
Yeah, I'll tell you another cool feature that people aren't using on the mobile app is when you message somebody, you actually can leave a 30-second voice message. So if you want to stand out, right, from everybody else, I would encourage you to try that feature.
Do that.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah, I think there's something to voice. Take time out to leave a message like that. Because you can't fake it. I mean, you have to leave a voice message. You can't. You say, "Hey, Joanne, hope you're doing wonderful today. Look forward to have you on our show at the podcast. Can't wait for you to share it with all your friends and followers, and looking forward to learning from you." I mean, I couldn't put that any other way. And then also, I think there's something about voice that just gives you inflection and personality comes through that you cannot decipher on text.
Agreed.
You cannot decipher on an email or an outreach. So that's a good point. Use the LinkedIn audio feature. And that's only on the mobile. On the mobile. Okay, got you. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I think that's the hidden gem today. Leave voicemails with people. I mean, they've always said that, just leave, like, people want to hear your voice. We're in a world of text and email, but the voice stands out. It'd be real today. If you could sit down for a nice chicken dinner with anybody in the world, who would it be?
Oprah Winfrey.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I just think that, she's so accomplished, and I love her clear sense of purpose on the planet. And I just would love to chat with her about that.
Just amazing. All the stories she's had too along her journey.
Yeah. Right.
See people interviewing them, like maybe the stuff you didn't see on TV that she saw, just so many fascinating. Yeah. And then also how to build $1 billion business. I mean, scale it. And then at some point, she left the TV business when she probably could have kept going, but she started her own TV network. Yeah,
exactly.
She could have, been kept on, fighting the battle with ABC or whatever, and working there. But then she said, I'm going to do my own network.
Just think of what an interesting conversation that would be.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to put her in the tweet somewhere because we need to see if she can get things going here from my girl, Joanne.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you have a book that has changed your life? Do you, one of your favorite books that you reread or you like stuck to your head?
I'll tell you, there's several of them. from a marketing perspective, Duct Tape Marketing, one of my favorite all-time books. I think it's Jantsch is a genius when it comes to marketing. So I love that. And personally, I read a lot of books. So I read things on food. I love food and all kinds of different books I love to read.
Where do you find to buy your books? You buy them on Amazon?
Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're eating everyone's lunch. I was talking to a friend. I was like, because some people don't know this, is that Amazon started as a bookstore.
Exactly.
People didn't even know that. I mean, it's like crazy. You think of it now. I mean, they sell pretty much everything under the sun, but it's one of those things where you really get good at one marketplace and then you can replicate it.
Exactly.
Fascinating. Yeah, it's truly fascinating. Yeah. And that would be another person to have on the show or just sit down with is Jeff Bezos.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
How'd you build this thing from just selling books? Now you're selling, patio equipment. And I remember they had some like little small house that they were selling that was very unique looking and like sold out in like a few days. Like, I mean, it was just like, it's crazy. I mean, and on the other side, people are making a ton of money selling stuff on Amazon.
Yeah, they are.
He's a marketplace. He's making money, but the seller, the people that are providing the inventory are making good money too. So think about that for them. They could not have to have the huge inventory and things like that and be able to sell stuff on Amazon. It's amazing. Yeah. Do you have a favorite show or something you like to do at the end of the day after a long day of work?
I love to cook.
Nice.
So for me, cooking a great meal and really enjoying that meal and relaxing at the end of the day, that's ideal for me.
That's ideal. I love cooking too. Yeah. There's nothing like it, huh?
Yeah,
especially a new recipe, something new.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite website or place to find new recipes?
Well, I'm a big food TV network.
Oh yes,
gal, and so I
pick up stuff along the way there when you're watching.
Yep, definitely.
That's awesome. And can you give our listeners, Joanne, one last real talk thought today?
Yeah, you know what? I would say start to build deeper, more meaningful relationships because relationships lead to conversations and conversations lead to opportunities.
Ooh. And where is the best place for our listeners to find you, follow you?
Well, you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Joanne Funch on LinkedIn. And also, I did create a really cool download for those who are interested, 7 ways to transform your LinkedIn network. And if you did all 7 of these things, you absolutely would change your outcome. And you can find that at linkedinforbusiness.net/podcast.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes as well, folks. You've been hanging out with Joanne Funch and Travis Too Tall and Huff. I want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today.